want to get over to Phil LeBeau in Chicago, who's got some breaking news for us. Phil.
And we're going to call up shares of Boeing because we want to take a look at Boeing as the company is announcing that it is setting aside $100 million that will go into funds that will be used to compensate the families of victims for the two 737 MAX crashes, as well as communities, whether in Indonesia or in Ethiopia. Remember, the accident in Indonesia happened last October with a Lion Air 737 MAX, and then the Ethiopian Airlines crash happened in March. That was just days before the MAX was grounded. So again, Boeing setting up $100 million to compensate the victims' families as well as communities. We should point out this money 100% separate from any funds that might ultimately have to be paid out as part of lawsuits. In other words, if a victim's family accesses some of this money, they're not waiving their right to sue the company. And guys, this is yet another move by Boeing to try to change the story narrative out there when it comes to how it's been responding in the 737 MAX crash. Because, you know, for some time there have been people who have said, look, they were tone deaf when they first were trying to respond to these accidents, suggesting that maybe, you know, the pilots were not experienced enough, et cetera. Boeing has been working hard, and this is another step to try to change that narrative, setting aside $100 million.
Phil, how unusual is it for a company like Boeing to set aside an amount of money like this separate from everything else?
Well, Morgan, I asked them that specific question. Have you done this in previous accidents? And the company said, well, the person I talked with at the company said, not really sure. We'll get back to you. I have not heard of it happening before, where they set up, you know, funds that will go to victims' families as well as to communities. So it is an unusual move. Now, the skeptics out there will say $100 million to a company like Boeing is a drop in the bucket. It's not. I mean, it's certainly not chump change, but it's not something that's going to hurt the bottom line. So, and it's going to be put aside over the next several years. Nonetheless, this is Boeing, as I mentioned, trying to change that narrative in terms of saying we understand the significance of the two crashes, and we need to reassure customers around the world that we are not tone deaf.